Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jimberly Jones here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 83.
Jim, do you not like the Jimberly Jones?
Oh, it's a classic one. I don't know if the Peanut Gallery's heard it as many times, but that is a long-standing classic.
Jim, would you say it's in your top 3 favorite nicknames that you have?
It's one that I hate the least, so yeah, I can give it top 3.
You have a lot of names, Jim.
Yes, I know. I am very aware.
Oh, so what you drinking over there, big guy?
Well, I am drinking, starting off the night with the Lancaster Baked Pumpkin Ale in the spirit of the fall season that is on us.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it is an ale brewed with pumpkin, spices, and other natural flavors. Have your pie and drink it too. Bold in flavor with deep amber color, our big baked pumpkin ale is sure to remind you of Grandma's pumpkin pie.
More like your mom's pumpkin pie.
She never made pumpkin pie.
I ain't talking about that pie.
I knew that's what you were going to go for. I choose not to race.
Just because you chew doesn't mean you're not on the track.
God.
You still get run over.
I went off this fucking ride. But yeah, it
The B train's rolling through, Jim. You just gotta accept it.
Doesn't give an APV, but yeah. Nice little pumpkin-y ale here.
I'm actually 7.5%.
Ooh, nice. I'm actually swimming in these beers right now because when we go shopping and my wife will run into Acme for things that we missed, there's a beer aisle now. And as we talked before, PA doesn't have beer in grocery stores until a few years ago. So you need to have some kind of alcohol with you to go through it. So she'll just randomly grab me like a 4-pack or a 6-pack or something just so she can check out quicker. So I am swimming in pumpkin beer.
Nice. I like it. I actually did. I've drank that a few times, and I'm looking at from my Untapped. I gave that a 4, and it actually is a yam beer too. So it's pumpkin and yams. And I remember the big thing that stuck out with me, I think, was it actually was one of the most pumpkin pie flavored beers. Like a lot of beers that call themselves pumpkin are really just nutmeg, vanilla, cinnamon, but that one like has that distinct like that pumpkin pie filling flavor, if you will.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I'm definitely getting that sweeter pumpkin-y pie kind of feel instead of like normal pumpkin beers where they're like try to be straight pumpkin that it just tastes like a shitload of spices.
Really spicy, yeah. That one's not spicy at all. Yeah, so I like everything from Lancaster Brewing. Were you with me or was that? No, I think I went with Monica with that when we went there. Like, and I tried every beer on the list. That place is really good.
I don't know if I've ever been to Lancaster Brewing. What's the one we went to? Was that Lancaster? When a bunch of us went to it out in
the Spring House.
Oh, that was Spring House. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, that place. That area has a surprising little like section of breweries. That would be a good place for us to go at some point when, world isn't still crazy, and hit up a whole bunch of them. But yeah, tonight I am keeping it simple, and it's right now it's the 28th. And I'm just clearing out. I have a whole bunch of different varieties of Oktoberfest beers. So tonight I'm sticking with the Yingling Oktoberfest. It's we've
classic.
Jerked off Yingling enough, but yeah, it's one of those really really easy to drink beers, and especially being the Oktoberfest, I want to get it all in before I go full just pumpkin beers. Once October hits, that's pretty much all I'm going to drink, unless like I'm at a party and there's like Miller Lite. So getting all the Oktoberfest. I may throw up a few more reviews because I have so many Oktoberfest beers I've been going through. So keep an eye for that for our site. But yeah, easy beer to drink. I don't know. It doesn't have the percentage either, but I think it's 5 or 6. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Yingling, I mean, it's always smooth no matter what you drink from them. So I've had that before. It's definitely a solid Oktoberfest. Nice, well-rounded. Good for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually tie all of Oktoberfest beers now with football season. And it does feel like the perfect football beer. even though it's only touching the start of the football season. I still like, I associate that with like start of football, like fall in general, and it is really just one of those beers that it matches the season perfectly.
This wonderful season we have where we're 0-2-1 as of right now, but we're still in the playoff hunt because the rest of our division sucks. Kaloo Kalay.
We may be a beer and video game site, but dear God, if you guys can't give us some pity as Philly fans, it's rough out there, Jim. We had the Flyers get dumb luck to get as far as they did, and then they finally lost. We had the Sixers get completely embarrassed, and we've had the Eagles do what they've been doing.
Don't forget, Phillies just got eliminated from playoff contention.
Yep, there's that too.
What a wonderful sports week.
It's it's been rough. It's increased the drinking, and it's gotten me back to the point of obviously, I think I did watch the end, but like, how quickly do you now watch these Eagles games? You're just like, I don't even want to keep watching. Like,
yeah, it's nothing else to watch. So,
yeah, this is true.
Welcome to Drink a Beer and Sports Review. Spin-off show, Brian.
God damn it. Nope, especially Philly sports. We can't do it, Jim. It's too angry.
Well, it'll give us that vitriol and that fire.
I think we got enough of that, especially you.
Yeah, that's true.
You have two modes: don't care or just anger.
That's actually a pretty good description at this point.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of that. Like the happy Jim is so few and far between.
It has to tickle me at the right spot to get the true happiness out of me.
Your pure happiness comes from all the shit posting of other people's downfalls at this point.
Shit posting of downfalls and seeing my kid grow. That's about it. Those are the only things I have.
Yep. That's all we have in this world, Jim.
What a lovely world to bring our kids up in.
But speaking of little joys, have you escaped into any games this past week?
Nah, for the most part, not really, because I spent the last couple days on vacation, little mini vacation, so I wasn't home. I wasn't around to play anything. Did I really play anything before then? Not really. Hey, you know what? I dabbled in a game that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I did try out Among Us, so I'll talk about that when we get to the article.
Yeah. Man, it's been balls slow for me. I haven't even, like, Dead by Daylight, I've played a couple games, maybe Call of Duty here and there, Avengers, I haven't really touched since that last time I streamed it. And then obviously from the last Bloodthirsty Thursdays, I did the Clock Tower game, which I know you hopped on for a little bit, but had you known about that game prior to me playing it?
Yeah, the Super Famicom original. Yeah, I knew about it.
Yeah.
Never played it, but I know about it.
I was, as a kid, obsessed with the PS1 Clock Tower game. And it's one of those games where I'm so furious, I never just, back then, like, decided to buy. Like, I always rented that game.
Yeah, you done fucked up. It's expensive now.
Oh, dude. It's what I've been looking up. And if anybody listening wants to sell, I don't care about Complete in Box, is looking to sell that, I want that game so bad. But I've never played the Super Famicom. I know it, like, laid the groundwork for the whole series, and it's arguably one of the most interesting and unique games for that system. So, yeah, I played that, and I'm actually looking forward to going back, and I'm not going to do it again for this coming Bloodthirsty Thursdays. I got a different game, but I will do other streams where I go through a few of the other endings, because that game is very fascinating, I'll say that.
Isn't it like a shitload of trial and error? But, like, also really, like, cinematic?
It's pure trial and error, but they move the location of all the items. So when you think you got it down, you're like, oh, okay, so finally, I know this key goes here. But now the key isn't where it was. And the interactions with the Scissor Man, the guy that kills you, that changes too. And there's something like 7 different endings, 7 or 8, I can't remember, but like, I got the one ending, and if you did ever play that game and do it the way I did it, you can finish the game in like 8 minutes, because it's basically you find where the car is, the key is right there, you start the car, and it basically says, but what about your friends? And you say, fuck them, and you just drive off.
That'd be me.
But yeah, exactly. But So it's like, depending on what choices you make early, it like basically lets you know which of your friends died, who you left behind, yada yada yada. I doubt I'm ever gonna get all the endings, but I'm at least gonna try to get a couple now that I know what a lot of the items do and the general idea of areas. So it is a fun game. It's a very just sit back, kind of enjoy yourself and trial and error. If you don't like trial and error, do not do that game.
All right. Now, it definitely looked interesting for the few minutes I was watching, but I also drank half a bottle of whiskey, so memory haze.
Damn it, Jim.
Fun next day. Hey, let's do activities with the kid.
You need a half bottle of whiskey to get over that.
Yeah, right. I need the other half after that.
So this week, it's still been very slow for me, and I doubt I'll get much because I'm going away too this week. So actually, I will not have a Bloodthirsty Thursdays this week. I just remembered I'm away. I'll probably supplement in either a Friday night stream, or something else on the weekend. So yeah, no Bloodthirsty Thursdays, but by the time you see this, it won't matter anyway. I just realized that.
Why? Maybe you'll have a Bloodthirsty Friday.
That I don't like it, Jim.
Or Blood Sloppy Saturday. Yeah. I'm good at this.
Damn. Bloody Mary Sunday?
See, we need one. We need sound effects. We need that like stock car crash every time for sometimes I do an intentional really bad joke. Just that good old
No, we need the rim shot for you, Jim.
Oh, well. Actual rim shots are the kind I look up on the internet.
No, the kind we look up.
Oh, okay. Even better. There's that Spices channel's needed.
Damn it, Jim. So, yeah. Not going to get a lot more gaming in this week, but what about our Patreon questions?
Well, Brian, for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question every single week. What the hell was that?
I dropped my bottle cap. Wait, so here's a question I have for you, Jim.
Okay.
I know you're very meticulous and anal and weird.
Go on.
And smelly and old. But when you are doing a twist bottle,
yeah,
and you have the cap,
mm-hmm.
Do you bend it in half and put it in the empty bottle when you're done with it?
It depends. If it's a brand new beer I have, then I try to save the cap and put it on the little bottle cap holder that I have on my wall. But if it's during the course of the night and I'm just drinking away, you know what? I almost never bend them. I just kind of like rip them off and just chuck them away at that point if I'm not trying to save it. Now, what I do is when I have a bottle and I'm like drinking, I can't help myself but just start peeling and fucking with the label. And I just start peeling away at it as I'm drinking it. And then by the time I'm done, I just stuff my ripped off label into the beer.
Okay, so
that's my tick.
That's one of those things, actually, and I did post something, and there's a lot of little things I want to ask you about, because there's little habits I know I have. Like, I can't help rip the tab off of cans of beer.
Oh, I hate doing that. I cannot. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when, like, the tab accidentally falls off the can. It just feels different. I hate the fucking feel of a can without the tab. It kills me. Soda, beer, doesn't matter.
On the top?
No. I don't cut my lip, but I just don't have that nice little feeling of resting right there. That nice little stopper.
I knew you'd be really weird about, like.
Of course I would. I'm worried about everything.
I know. I knew you would get pet peeves about, but yeah, I mean, and it's no shocker. I'm very destructive and shit, but I can't help, like, when I have the cap, I don't like just putting it anywhere. And especially like where I film this shit, I don't have a trash can near me, so I'm like, let me just bend the thing in half and put it in there. So yeah, but you know me, bending and breaking shit is just
that's the thing like, you do.
That's my version of doodling.
Yeah, that actually fits you perfectly.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was always the kid that would like sit there and bend spoons and forks and stuff. So yeah, that's what I do, Jim. Don't hate.
I mean, I wasn't really hating. It's just a thing I know. It's a thing you come to accept with you.
Don't hate, Jim. Cockhammer.
Kadoosh.
All right, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your Patreon thing.
Yeah, derailing the shit out of this beautiful sales pitch of mine. But for as little as $2 a month, patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, you can ask a question that we will answer in each and every single episode of the Power Hour podcast. First question this week comes to us from Gamer Astral. Favorite Neo Geo game?
Metal Slug.
That was very matter of fact.
I just don't. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, fuck. I only know. I would have said Samurai Showdown, but I only know that and Metal Slug, and I was fine with the Samurai Showdown games on other systems, so that's my reference point for Neo Geo is really, really weak.
Yeah, I mean, overall, mine's pretty weak too. So, yeah, mine would either be like I really do like oh fucking what
Don't
the hell?
you fucking say pinball or golf or some stupid shit, Jim.
Bri, if you're not talking about the glory of Neo Turf Masters, which is one of the most beautiful pixel art golf games that have ever been made.
I hate you.
It's actually really good. But, I mean, I've spent my most time with Metal Slug and Samurai Showdown, so I'll go with Samurai Showdown. That's probably the one I've played the most. But yeah, again, it's very limited, too, for me with my Neo Geo experience.
I say Samurai Showdown is one of the most underrated fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty highly loved, pretty highly rated. At this point, like, I know one of that had its new, like, reboot or remake that just came out last year. I hear it's good. I haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, it's almost like understated, but it's like more quality over quantity for that series.
For that series, yeah. No. Good question, now.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, from Game Whisperer Dean. Favorite Power Rangers game? Ooh.
Well, I know you and I could not praise the shit enough out of the fighting game. It was definitely Super NES, but was it on the Genesis or was it only Super NES?
There is a different one on the Genesis that's kind of bad, but no, the one you're thinking of is the Super NES one. That one is phenomenal.
So, keep in mind, we were probably many beers deep and had just gone through, I can't even guess how many fighting games when we finally got to that Power Rangers fighting game. And just right off the bat, the soundtrack was like, just fucking hit you. Mm-hmm. And the special moves looked amazing. Like, we were like blown away.
Big, colorful sprites, very detailed, lots of effects. It's actually, I think I'm right on this. I think it came after the Gundam Wing game, which is also really, really good. And it uses that same engine. So, like, those are two of the best fighters, not named Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, from, like, the 16-bit generation. So, yeah, no, that one's phenomenal.
And honestly, even though when I was a kid, I was obsessed. I had almost every Power Ranger toy. For my one birthday, we had Power Rangers come to the house. Like, I was obsessed with Power Rangers. But I fell off that once the original cast, like, changed and past the White Ranger in the movie, I can't tell you a single thing. I dropped off completely from it. So the only games I played was that fighting game, the platformer for the Super NES, and the new fighting game. And of those three, I have the most memories of the platformer, but I think that fighting game Jim and I played is probably my favorite.
Yeah, no, I was going to go with Battle for the Grid. Like, that's actually at this point, it's a really well-made game. Like, they added enough content to it to make it, like, an actual, like, great title, even though it was completely overpriced when it launched. But yeah, like, my history, I have the, like, my friends and I, we played that, but Jesus, out of the fighting game on the Genesis. And it's really not that good, but, like, when you're an 8-year-old playing a Power Rangers fighting game and, like, you play as a Ranger and then you play as the Zords, it's really all you need. And, like, I played, anytime my cousin was around and he brought his Game Gear, I'd always play Power Rangers on his. And it was, like, a weird combo of, like, a fighting game and... It was, like, weird. Like, it's almost like a one-on-one fighter against putties and then, like, against a boss. It was weird, but it was fun. And then I kind of, like... I watched Power Rangers definitely to the end of Mighty Morphin. I think... Was it Neo that came after that? Maybe a little bit of Neo. But then after that, I kind of fell off. And, like, maybe watched a little bit of, like, Special Police Delta or whatever one that one was. But, yeah.
No, after Mighty Morphin, I was completely checked. Like... I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know how old we would have been, but I took a complete left turn and just stopped altogether. So
It was easy to get burnt out too because there were like 4,000 episodes per season.
true.
Like if you like, I went back and like I've watched a few here or there on Netflix. So I'm like, oof, it's kind of a rough watch. But like if you look, like every season's like at least 30 episodes. It's like holy shit. No wonder that it felt like we were watching it for 5 years, but it was only maybe a year and a half.
Yeah. No, they definitely inundated you and the toys and everything. I mean, yeah, that thing came like friggin' lightning. Like many shows of the 90s and 80s, but yeah, that one for me. I was shocked there wasn't more games for that series, is all I'll say. Or how popular it felt.
Games kept going for it for a while, like maybe to like through like the N64 era, but then after that it like fell off until basically Power for the Grid. I mean, there was that mobile game to tie into the movie before that, but yeah, now Power for the Grid's like the only real one that's come out in like the last decade.
Did you see the movie, the new one?
No.
So I saw it, and I gotta say, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't expect it to be anything like the original.
Right.
But it was that cheese. It was like just the right amount of cheesiness. But it was kind of like that movie. What was it called? Where the kids find the stone and get the powers. Not Push. Fuck. You probably didn't.
Oh, whoa. Ah, fuckity fuck. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, god damn it.
Not Legion. Shit. This is going to drive me crazy now. God damn it. All right, I'm whipping out the phone.
You look it up, but like, so, you know, it had exactly that feel because the kids find something very similar. They get these like suits, the powers. Elizabeth Banks as Rita was an interesting choice. Like, it just, putting aside any thoughts of trying to tie it to the original series you loved, you put that aside, it's like, it's just not a bad movie. And I think a lot of people shit on it because, like most people, when you tie your nostalgia to something, you're like, oh, it's not exactly what it was when I watched it.
Right.
It was a fine popcorn junk movie. And if I was a kid and saw that, I probably would have been like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like it got shit on unfairly, and I didn't know if you had a chance to see it.
No, I didn't see it, but like, Chronicle, that's the one you're thinking of.
Yep, Chronicle.
Yeah, but no, I didn't see it, but I mostly heard from like all the YouTubers I watched. They went, yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it's one I want to. I'll get around to it sometime.
It's not even one I would recommend. It's like I can't even. I'm not even saying I recommend. I'm saying like, if you're even slightly interested, give it a try. It'll like just about entertain you enough to the point where you're like, okay, like I didn't waste my time watching this.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like, oh my God, that's a favorite movie of mine.
Yeah, it's on the list of like, I won't just pass it by if I see it. If I have like time, I'll be like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. No, but good question though. Yeah. I definitely go with that original fighting game though.
Hit us right in the childhood. Next up, from G to the Next Level. Who is the better PlayStation duo, Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank? Oh, shit, this could have been the Bitches Better for this week.
Yeah. I might go with Ratchet and Clank because I felt like it was a little more original.
You know what? These are two series that just completely passed me by. I never played either of them.
Okay.
The most experience I ever had with them was unlocking characters from them in Hot Shots Golf 4. They were like special caddies and golfers that you can unlock. That's about it for me. Always comes back to golf.
I have very limited as well. I don't own any of the games. Once again, this was when I was renting or whatever. Our buddy had them. But I just like the mechanics and the thought behind Ratchet and Clank. So, yeah, I always go with that. Now, I got rehashed with this, and I think I told you about her. For a while there, when I was getting my hair cut, the one girl would like talk my head off about video games.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of games I didn't know. Like, she would go into insane detail, but like, yeah, Ratchet and Clank were one of her favorites. So I got to know every plot point of every goddamn game and why they were great and why they weren't, all for a haircut that only should have taken me 5 to 10 minutes. I'd be there for at least 40 minutes. So yeah.
Come for the haircut, stay for the video game talk, and the boobies in the face.
Damn it, Jim!
Brian, why did you always ask for her? I'm sure it's for the riveting video game discussion.
Oh man, that awkward time when you were a teen getting haircuts or pre-pubescent or going through puberty and getting haircuts, and if you get someone hot cutting your hair, woo!
Yeah, where's a 34-year-old?
Damn it, Jim!
Tee.
Something strange.
Damn it! What's going on in my no-no spot?
Why'd you have to take it there, Jim?
Because I always do. Because I have nothing else.
Good
question, G. Next,
He's probably just shaking his head. He's like, God damn it, Jim.
yeah, he's used to it. That's why I bought the beer. Last up from Alex Perez. What is a game that you truly consider to be a great game that is generally considered to be bad? And what is a game that you truly consider to be a bad game that is generally considered to be great?
Ooh. So,
Wow.
so a game we like that's considered
Bad.
Ooh.
I can start.
Well, Jim, that's your whole library. Yeah, you start, because I got to look at my games.
All right. I think this is pretty easy. Resident Evil 5. People shit all over that game all the time. And yeah, it's goofy, and yeah, it's more action-oriented, but it's a really well-made game. It was fun, and it's got its defenders out there, and that is a loyal fan base. Like, people either hate the game, which is the majority, it seems, or they go and they get every single achievement possible and play it like 5,000 times. But I never played it until last year when we were doing those reviews, and I was like, I don't get the hate. Like, this is a well-made game.
Okay, no, that's a good answer. And kind of going with games we reviewed, excuse me, I was shocked at how much hate the Splatterhouse remake got.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because that was stupid, gory, grindhouse fun. I mean, any game where you can rip the intestines out of the asshole of a giant creature, you unlock like crazy
boobies.
It's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like every 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy's like idea of a fun game. And the mechanics weren't bad. The combos were fine, and you got to like really experience a Splatterhouse game in 3D. So I didn't think it was that bad of a game.
Yeah,
I don't know why it got the hate it did.
That got taken to the woodshed. Like, I know people hate the load times, which is very fair. And yeah, like, it was like kind of weird because like it would show you like a move you need to know like 3 levels later than when you actually needed to know it. But yeah, I mean, it had its flaws, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And then games that most people think are good that I think are bad. Mine is super easy, and I've kind of said it, but Breath of the Wild. It's an overrated game that I get even if you're the most diehard Zelda fan. The mechanics in the game just make it so much more boring than it needs to be. The weapon breaking, there's just a lot of what I feel like is empty space within that world, and it was not for me. Like it's just, to me, it's not even one of the top 3 good Zelda games.
Yeah, and mine I talk about all the fucking time. It's Uncharted. Like, a decent story doesn't take away from just like, I mean, the platforming I like in the game. I've said this before. I love the platforming. Nice, beautiful graphics, shit like that. Fun just climbing all these crazy things. But the combat and and like the sandbox areas they just lock you into, and wave after wave of sloppy combat. I don't care. And then like the later games put in more stealth elements, which is okay. Let's take more fun out of this. So yeah, I just never jived with Uncharted.
I think more and more there's a diehard, and the only people I think are diehard fans that are really just PlayStation diehards, because I feel like that more and more I'm seeing that as a general consensus that people are thinking those games are a bit overrated.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't make it far into 2. Like, I played it for like 2 hours, and everyone's like, oh, but the set piece moments. Like, I don't care if I don't like the game, like, leading up to them. Like, I'm not going to stick around and playing through the first one. Like, I should have skipped 1 and gone right into 2. Like, that's what everyone tells me, but, me being me, I wanted to know the game from the beginning of the series. So I played the first one, and I fucking hated it. And now anytime I try to touch any of the other ones, I hate it after an hour because I just get, like, the same vibes all over again. So,
yeah,
it's kind of ruined for me.
I get it. and that's not your style of game. I mean, also as we've discussed, that game is very like you're supposed to almost care more about the story being presented. It's cinematic, and we know you don't give two shits about story. So
Unless it really touches me in the no spot, I'm not going to care about the story.
the only way it's doing that is if it's that waifu shit you have on your Switch, Jim.
You want to talk about well-made stories? Oh man,
You son of a bitch. But no, Alex, that was a good question. That was that first part was tough for me, but yeah, second part was a little bit easier.
yeah, no, that was a noodle scratcher. So great questions again, everyone. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And thank you once again, everyone who does support us on Patreon. And if you want to support us, help us keep rolling this train along, please make sure, click the links below. And we have all of our tiers set up. If you want to submit questions, it's $2 a month. And we're always happy to interact with you guys. So thank you.
You're being a shilly fraud gamer.
Jim, that is your new moniker now.
Yes, it is. And you know what? He's right.
Well, what's interesting when he wrote that, and for those of you who don't know, it's not even really worth mentioning, but someone basically tried calling out Jim for his hardware review of all things.
Well, he wasn't calling out the hardware review. He was calling out the description that I put into it, that I put into all of our videos.
Well, it's a description, but it's also, he was talking about the video itself. He was referring to you're nonchalant, you won't commit to saying something's bad, you're kind of like...
No, he didn't talk about that at all. Do I have to look this up?
You can. But, yeah, I mean, he's basically saying you're a shill for that company, Jim. That's what that video was. It was you sucking off hardware that was known to be bad, and you're sucking it off.
Let me look this up, because that is not at all what the nature of that comment was.
That's exactly what the nature was.
No, it wasn't. Let me see here. God damn it. Now I got to do all the fucking back through this bull crap.
All right, well, while you're doing it, since I know I'm going to talk more about it anyway.
Yeah, you will.
So, for a while, I feel like it's been getting teased for easily a year and a half to 2 years that Resident Evil was coming to Netflix. And there was all these like fake thumbnails created about, like they showed mansions that were actually from horror movies. So there wasn't a lot of information leaked. We just knew, hey, there's Resident Evil, there's these thumbnails out there. Is it going to be the original like game turned into a whole show? We didn't know. We knew it wasn't a movie, but we thought maybe we were getting some really cool live action show, which would have been really awesome to show the whole incidents of the T-virus leading up to the mansion. Like, who knows? And as of 2 days ago, this article is written on the 27th, but I feel like I saw it about 2 days ago. The trailer for Infinite Darkness was released, and it shows Claire going into this abandoned house and what looks like, I guess, are vials. I don't know if it's a T-virus, G-virus, or whatever. And she's looking around, and she raises up her flashlight a little bit, and you see what looks like the RPD uniform and the shotgun, which leads people to believe it's Chris and not Chris, Leon and Claire kind of back together again. But what doesn't make sense is they are still moving forward with a live action show. And that stars Albert Wesker's twin daughters. So it's, and I don't know anything about that other than the fact that
Please be of age. Please don't let me regret that scene I just did.
Jim, is this going to be a bite you in the ass, kind of like the Kevin Spacey comment?
That's going to be another Kevin Spacey. Just you watch. This is what I get for no like, research.
Oh, it's Albert Wesker's two 15-year-old daughters.
Shit!
But no, so on one hand, we're getting double the amount of Netflix Resident Evil shows, which is good. But I wish they would have done this in reverse. Like, give us the whole Wesker twin story in CGI. Give us Claire and Leon, or one of the main stories that we want to see live action. So, I don't know. I'm going to watch it. I'm gonna see how it goes. But I don't know if you're the same way, Jim. When I see a franchise that I really love, like when Castlevania did the animated series, it was fine. I enjoyed it. But it takes it out of me right away as soon as I see something I really love just becoming animated. Because at that point, I'm like, either just make another game or like do the full effort to do live action. Because that's kind of what you want to see anyway.
But
I don't know.
it started animated, computer animated.
I know, that's my point.
So you should like seeing a CG show like this.
I don't, because that kind of goes back to, if I'm just going to watch something in CG, then I'd rather just play a game in CG.
Yeah, but if you're going to watch a video game movie, why don't you just play the video game? Hey, baby.
Because if it's live action, then that's different.
Yeah, but that means it's normally bad.
Not really. I didn't mind the Resident Evil movies. They weren't great, but the first one actually I liked a lot.
The first three were fun. I liked the first three. After that, it fell off a cliff for me.
After that, it's just pure ridiculousness, the same way Fast and the Furious became pure ridiculousness. And I don't take anything even slightly serious, but it's like, oh, okay, they're there.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I don't mind in that. If it's done well, I don't mind what kind of media you want to do, like a spin-off story or whatever with. So if it's done well, it's kind of a moot point. But again, me being me, I don't go out of my way to watch it anyway. So it's kind of also a moot point for me.
Did you actually watch the trailer?
No. I just saw the article and posted it.
Jim, you cannot.
Thought it was breaking news. I didn't even know there was a trailer. I skimmed through the article and I didn't see the trailer for it. I don't know.
What do you mean you skimmed through the article? You literally go down a tiny bit and the trailer is right there.
Right, I read the important parts. I had the text. I didn't have to watch this, a video saying the same thing, so I got what I need out of it.
Listen, the fact that from our Twitter, I'm going to look this up right now. You have, let's see this. I know it shows this somewhere. I don't even know how many tweets you've retweeted or things you've put out there. It's way too much. Too much time spent retweeting absolute fucking nonsense. And there's been some time, I can tell, put in the thoughts and whatever. You couldn't take the 1 minute and 30 seconds or whatever the trailer is and just watch this, you son of a bitch.
Nah, life comes at you fast, Brian. Gotta pick and choose
my battles. It doesn't, Jim. It doesn't. Especially when you're known for being on the toilet at 40 minutes at a clip every time you go in the bathroom.
Brian, that is Clash of Clans time, and you know this, you son of a bitch.
Stop playing games. What are you going to play Flappy Bird next, you son of a bitch?
No, Brian, because the developer took it off the App Store because he got too much hate like 5 years ago.
Exactly. So I win.
I don't think that's how it works.
Well, is there any chance you would actually watch this? Hearing what I'm saying.
It sounds okay. Like, it doesn't even sound that great.
Well, the problem is I don't know what the hell the shit... Like, you just... Once again, you see Claire going into an abandoned house. You see vials on the floor. And you see what you assume is Leon. That's it. Like, so you don't have any reference point of when, where, like, what the fuck's going on.
Sounds like I would have wasted my time by watching that trailer, Brian.
You could have had an opinion on it.
Yeah, I could have. I mean, I just listened to what it was, and I go, I don't know what to think.
Oh, Jamberly.
Remains to be seen. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get around to it. I still have to get around to Castlevania too, and that's only like, what, 8, 12 episodes total, so.
It's not much, but it's on its 3rd season now, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah, you son of a bitch.
One battle at a time, Brian.
Speaking of things you do, this one actually surprised me that you played it, because we were talking before the podcast. But there's news from TheVerge.com that Among Us creators are canceling the sequel after the surprise success of the first game. And if you guys don't know, if you see memes for what look like
little egg-shaped spacemen.
Yeah, with the little space mask and floaty hands that aren't attached to the body, then you're probably seeing some kind of meme for the game Among Us, which, as I described to Jim, I feel like this is a game that has now replaced Fall Guys, because I don't see anyone talking about Fall Guys now. I only see stupid memes about this game. I'm not calling the game stupid. Actually, before we talked, Jim explained what the game is to me, and it's something that sounds like it interests me very much, but it has been friggin' blowing up. It's been, I don't even know how long, and I don't think the article talks about it. I don't know how long it's been available.
It came out in like 2018, and it had like no play. No one cared. Kind of bombed.
Oh wow.
And yeah, but one of the surprise hits of COVID, like, it's been fucking Among Us. Like, streamers start. I don't know who was the first one to stumble on it and start streaming it with like buddies, but for those who don't know, basically the gist of the game is you're on a spaceship. There's 10 players, and 1 to 2 players are going to be imposters. So while everyone's going around the ship doing tasks to keep the ship running, the imposters are trying to sabotage the ship and kill players. And when players get discovered to be dead, you can call an emergency meeting, try and make your arguments, and it's all through text because it's only through Steam and through mobile phones. So you can make your arguments about who it is and vote, and, you know, if you kick, and basically whoever gets voted off gets kicked out of the ship and killed. So it's, you know, that cat and mouse game of trying to kill people and not get found out, blah, blah, blah. And like we said, it's a cool concept. Now, I've only played it so far just with randos online, and anyone you talk to who says that, they say, I don't get why everyone loves this game so much. But then you talk to people who are really into it, and it really just comes down to playing it with your friends in a group chat. Like, if you don't do it like that, you're probably not going to enjoy the game. But if you're playing with your friends and trying to fuck each other over, then it gets really fun.
Yeah. I said to Jim, I absolutely love the idea of the game. And I see what he's saying. If you're not playing with people you don't know, it might not be as much fun because everyone's going to play a little more straight-laced, whereas if you are trying to, like, obviously if we can somehow pull it together, my first thought was, let's do a stream of us playing this and get some people who, you know, are friends to join in, and we'll definitely get Jim kicked off the ship right away.
I'm sure you fucks will do it anyway. I'll be innocent every goddamn time, and I'll always be the first one.
You're never innocent, Jim.
I am always innocent. I'm a good boy, and I'm trying to start the generator for the engine room.
Except for Albert Wesker's underage twins. Damn it, Jim! This is why you're kicked off the ship. But what's interesting is the way that article is titled. Right away, I was like, so they're not going to proceed with a sequel because they're so popular? And like Jim said, since it's been out for a while, what it actually means is that the developers originally, they were going to do a sequel because they had a lot of things they needed to fix with the first game. And it just wasn't getting a lot of following because they thought, well, it doesn't make sense to sit here and patch and fix up this game, so let's just do a sequel. And now that everyone's like jumping on the bandwagon and playing it, they're like, well, okay, maybe it is worthwhile to just go to this game and patch it, fix it. So this is one of those more admirable. I wish the title was different, like, hey, developers doing the right thing and fixing the original game versus cashing in on a sequel. Like, it's a very misleading title for an article.
Yeah, it's also weird because apparently, like, from other articles and, like, little snippets I've seen, like, apparently the netcode is, like, dog shit for Among Us and, like, the coding they used to make the original game, because it was, like, a really, really small team that worked on it. So, it almost seems like if they're going to be adding all this shit, they have to do it from the ground up anyway. So, to me, it almost would make sense to, hey, this is hot. Here's a 2 with all these new features and shit like that. But I can get one to strike while the iron's hot with a brand that you have and try and fix and make some actual money off this first one. So, I don't know. Kind of a touch and go thing.
Plus, at this point, if they have such a strong player base that is really relying on multiplayer, it's like, why ask them to be guaranteed to come to a new game they might not? If they're already on there and they just see there's an update and now it plays better, that'll keep them there longer.
Yeah, true. I mean, you could always just, do what a ton of people do and make it free, but, you know, throw in microtransactions for cosmetic shit. Like, that's a way you could easily make money and milk people. Like, it's worked for a ton of other popular games. But, I mean, because it's already, Among Us 1's already free on mobile, and it's only available on mobile and Steam. And on Steam, it's only $5. So, it's, I mean, I guess they're raking in the money right now for the effort they put into it up to this point, but I don't know. I guess to me, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, this was fun. I see both sides of, you know, what you want to do with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. But I can't wait to actually try out that game. And if we can, we're definitely going to set up something, and we're getting Jim kicked off the ship.
Enjoy your next poop break, Brian.
Speaking of surprise poop breaks and enjoying ourselves, this is one of the more interesting articles you found, Jim. I don't know where you found it.
Where I find everything. Twitter.
Yeah. So from NewYorkPost.com.
Kings among men.
MTA workers had a hidden man cave below Grand Central tracks, and this whole thing was reported. The article is listed below. You gotta click on it just for the ridiculousness that it is. But essentially, there was 3 MTA tradesmen that have basically been boozing, napping, and watching TV inside this secret man cave they built. That just basically, I mean, it's a small little box of an area, but they got a mini fridge, a microwave, which ironically enough has an Iron Gym pull-up bar on top of it.
Yep.
In the fridge. I like how they're saying like they're boozing. They just show one Lagunitas IPA.
Half drunk. Half drunk at that.
And some cranberry juice. So
you got to keep it diuretic.
Must be on the periods. But it's very interesting because they have some Wi-Fi down there for like an Amazon.
They have bread in the fridge, so they are degenerates.
I mean, they have a full blow-up mattress box in there. Like, these guys clearly had this thing planned out. And you know what?
Well, it went even beyond that. Like, they not only planned it out, but they also planned it to, like, hide stuff in case someone found it. But I guess someone found it anyway when they weren't hiding the shit. Because, like, they built cutouts to, like, hide the TV and to hide the walls with the mini fridge and shit like that. So, like, they really went out of their way to try and, like, they had an Amazon casting box in there. No video game consoles, so, you know, a little bit of a missed opportunity. But for what they had in there, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's what makes it, it's like, okay. I'm not saying it's okay in any sense. But the guy, apparently, one of them was, like, receiving overtime. Was receiving overtime pay while being in there. So it's like they got super greedy. Like, instead of just having it as a place where during their lunch break they could just went and maybe took a little bit too long of a lunch or something, these guys were clearly doing this like way too much. So yeah, I don't know what actually happened with them. But that's a very impressive level of just trying to fuck off.
Well, Brian, if they're hiding in a room together, they're obviously playing with each other's peckers. So you have to build a secret little room like that.
Jim, what happened to you in your childhood? Did you not have clubhouses? Did you just not have escapes from everything else? Did everything turn into, if you have a secret room, you get your pecker touched?
I did 10. I hid in and would play with my Nerf guns in. That was fun.
You were somebody else's Nerf gun.
No, Brian.
Jim's like, oh boy, that's a different looking Super Soaker. Jim, what face are you giving right now?
You know the face I'm giving you. Luckily, thankfully, that didn't happen, but I just love that the idea of it gives Brian such joy.
Jim, it's okay. It's not your fault. Oh, there's so much I want to say. But, you know what? I'm being good, Jim.
That's being good?
You're the degenerate.
Yes. Obviously.
So, good on these guys, but you know what? You deserve it.
It's not good. Let's be fair here. It's not good on these guys. It's intuitive. It's
good on these guys.
It's not commendable, but it's like, yeah, I can respect it.
Oh, no, I don't commend it. I just, you got caught. Like, they went a little too crazy. Like, had they just found this space to put a TV, like you said, if you're just going there for your lunch break and you just found the perfect way to make a little man cave, but these guys were clearly getting over to, like, they got greedy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Icarus flew a little too close to the sun.
Yeah. They just, had they just kept it, like, that would have been a really cool story of, like, hey, workers make the most of an unused space during their lunch break. Cool. And these guys fucked it up, so.
Yep.
Speaking of fuck ups, Jim.
What?
This one pisses me off for so many reasons.
Why?
I don't know what the hell SocietySix.com is.
Neither do I.
But apparently it specializes in all types of custom housewares, I'll call it. From beds, furniture, home decor, whatever. And Jim linked it to a goddamn Sega Dreamcast console artwork. I'm not calling it a duvet. It's a goddamn comforter. Because I know you're French, and I know that's what your people call it.
I mean, it's probably called a duvet at that point.
It's a comforter, Jim.
It is a comforter. It is a comforter.
And it looks ridiculous. Like, okay. You're in the thick of it.
Ooh, 35% off today. Ooh la la.
You are the one between us who's like really in the weeds with people who are super obsessed with like very niche consoles or very specific, obsessions. Even them would not get the console of their choice as a goddamn giant comforter of the console itself. It's like not even a cool looking thing. And there's no chance. Who actually buys that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if it was a Sega Genesis, like an actual good console, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some, like, there's people who have famously had sheets with, like, the Dragon Quest slime of just, like, a big blue bed with the face on it from Dragon Quest, so there's a market for everything out there. Is this something I would buy? Of course not. One, I'm not buying a Dreamcast comforter, and two, I am definitely not buying a $70 comforter for a full size. Get the fuck out of here. Like a queen size, $140. That's some goddamn robbery.
Jim.
Yeah, but no, I can't think of any video game related thing that I would sleep on. Maybe a waifu body pillow, but besides that, I have my limits. I'm a man of respect and class here.
I don't know. Like, I get there's a place for all of it, but it's one of those deals, like, how easy it is to just create the image of, like, put your graphic here and this is what it looks like. But this looks like something someone actually made. Unless it's just really well done. What the hell is the word I'm looking for? Photoshop on that comforter to say, like, this is what it might look like. I thought it looked like a legit, like, comforter that had it already on it.
Oh, I mean, like, that's I think it's a legit pattern that you can get on a comforter. Like,
No, I get the pattern. I'm saying, like, for our shop, and if you ever want it, we have t-shirts available, but it's not the actual like, they're showing what the patterns are going to look like on the shirt itself. I'm saying that actually looks like the legit comforter that was already, like, made.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked randomly under, like, video game, and, like, I looked under Super NES, and there's a Donkey Kong one that has just the DK letters on a barrel that you can get for your duvet. Or you can get a Super Mario World pillow for $30. Or, oh, look, there's a little Chrono Trigger one. So, yeah, I mean, they went all out with this shit.
That's what I mean. So they've actually made these. They've modeled them. Because you see the way it lays on there and the color differential. Like,
I'm sending you something in the group chat right now. Ooh, mama. Bri, prepare to be amazed.
Hold on. Off of Google, you mean?
Off the drive.
I already saw the title. So Jim sent me. Wow. All right, we're gonna put the link below.
Not safe for work.
It's not safe for work. So
I was not expecting to see this. Hello, new T-shirt.
The title is "Sexy Metroid Samus Pinup Zero Suit Painting." It's a naked ass Samus with just the helmet on, and
some Metroids flying around her.
Yeah, so don't open that at work. But god damn it, Jim, why would I know you would find something like that?
Hey, I'm the victim here, Brian. I was just scrolling through the listings here. Hey, look, it's Symphony of the Night bed. Or
Jim, you're
Japanese
many
Metroid
things.
Bed.
A victim is not one of them.
I don't know, Brian. I'm a little scarred from this. I don't know if I'll ever recover. We'll be able to play Metroid with a boner again.
Jim. You son of a bitch. So, yeah. So, Jim put something on here that just right away I just shook my head at. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, these things happen.
They seem to happen a lot with you, you motherfucker.
Like I said, Brian, at the start of the show, bring the spice.
All right. We're moving on. But before we do, I'm grabbing our beer. So, give me 1 second.
Me too.
All right. So, before we move on to our final topics, let's go through the beers we've had. So, Jim, how did you like that baked?
Very tasty. Very smooth. Like, doesn't give you any of that, like, nasally, spicy pumpkin beer bite that a lot of them do, like we talked about. It's almost like pumpkin candy-ish. Just goes right down. Very tasty without being too sweet.
So, is my 4 out of 5 appropriate?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty fair.
Nice. So, are you sticking with that, or you said you are doing something different?
Yep, something different from New Belgium, the Voodoo Ranger special spicy release of the Atomic Pumpkin. 6.4% alcohol. It's got a cool looking skeleton guy on it. I don't have a lot to say.
So is that the one? Is that pumpkin with the habanero?
I don't know. Let me see if I can see anything with it.
I
brewed with
thought
pumpkin. No, brewed with pumpkin, cinnamon, and chilies. So, ooh.
All right, let me know how that is. The only time pumpkin beers and spice never made sense to me. And then my buddy who I actually brewed.
It smells like a gingerbread cookie.
Interesting. Yeah, like he made a spicy pumpkin stout.
Ooh, that's got some spice.
So your butthole's gonna be burning tonight?
Not tonight. Right after that first morning coffee, it's gonna be flowing. Levy will be broken.
Damn it, Jim. Yeah, the Yingling. I'm on my 3rd Oktoberfest. I mean, these beers, they go down easy. There's not much to say. They don't knock it out of the park. Like, I'm not going to sit here and call them amazing, but once it turns fall, if you do want to just say, I'm tired of just having Miller Lite or, like Jim, Keystone, and you want to try something a little more without going full craft, try one of these. Like I said, it's a perfect for when it's a little chillier outside.
But who could ever get tired of Keystone Light?
I'm just going to save that comment for myself, Jim.
The answer is no one. And never.
All right. So we always talk now we're going to have our reoccurring segments, but the first one is it's going to go a little longer than we have before. We've been talking about gaming music that's been inspired by real life music or vice versa. Now, the thing we've teased almost not every week, but many times we've talked about, one of the most common examples we've seen is the soundtracks from at least at a minimum, the first 2 Doom games. They are just, I don't want to say every song, but I will say 70% of the tracks you hear throughout those games are inspired by the big metal bands of late 80s, 90s. So Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Alice in Chains. Like, it's just all those tracks probably sound somewhat familiar and really, really well done because they are just riffs on the melody or the main, guitar licks of those songs. You said this to me, Jim, but one of the first songs, because when I was a kid, I didn't listen to much of any of those bands, and I still, by no stretch of the imagination, I wouldn't call myself a expert in Slayer or Pantera. I don't mind them, but it's like I don't know their catalogs at all. But one of the first times I really heard a song, I was like, wait, I know this, was it actually came from the second game, and it's called Bye Bye American Pie, and it's an exact replica of Alice in Chains and Them Bones. Mm-hmm. And I actually was on the stream with our buddies from Console Wars. I was talking to Dan about this. Like, I've been on an Alice in Chains kick for the past, month or two.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was like, I wanted to talk about this for a while, but I was like, you know what? Instead of just doing one song, like, I'm putting the link below. This person, let me give them a shout out. from Hellish Godzilla. Give them a follow, check them out. He did a really good job of breaking down almost all of the specific songs from Doom that have a metal and rock like comparison. So I really liked how his video did it. Instead of us going song by song and we're not stretching it out, I wanted to just hit them all up. But that was the song that even, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's Them Bones. And it's one of my favorites from the second game, I'll say, because I like a lot of the ones from the first games a little more. But when did you first realize, like, did you know from yourself, or did you like find it out and then the dots connected for you?
So my childhood Doom was the 32X version, and that is the weakest sound wise, next to the Jaguar, which has no music. But yeah, so I didn't realize back then about. I also really, when I was playing that, I really wasn't big even big into music that much back then. So those dots definitely did not cross at all back then. It wasn't until years later down the line, watching like videos about Doom and shit like that, and retrospectives, when people would break down song by song, like where all these tracks are ripped off of like more famous tracks and stuff like that.
And you're like me. I mean, you're not by any stretch of imagination Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, like die hard.
Like Pantera for a while was one of my favorite bands. So I love me some Pantera. But yeah, I like Slayer, I like Metallica.
Really? Pantera was one of your favorites?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because one of the things I was thinking of when I was thinking about putting this in here, I don't think it's controversial. It's just my opinion. But I think I like, and I think Alice in Chains is a better band than Metallica.
They're different though. It's almost two different genres of rock completely.
Is it though? Is it that different?
Yeah, one's like hard grunge and one's metal. One's fucking. Oh Christ! Why can I not think of the term right now? They're, like Metallica's one of those four pillars of fucking. Oh Jesus Christ! I cannot think tonight. This is what happens when I come back from vacation and do a podcast the day after.
Like metal noir.
No, I'm sure there's a metal noir.
Here's the problem. I don't know. The one thing I hate. I get that you can try and classify, but if I heard those, they are different enough. But like at the end of the day, you can just say at some point it's like all the different versions of Christianity. They're all under rock. So
yeah, they're like thrash. They're like the four pillars of thrash. It's like them, Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Pantera, fucking Megadeth's in there, like groove metal, thrash metal, shit like that.
Yeah. So, but my point is, I don't know. Like that was just something I want to throw out there because I knew you weren't the biggest fans of Metallica, but I never knew where you stood with Alice in Chains.
No, I like Alice in Chains. I can go the rest of my life without ever hearing Man in the Box again.
It's been overused.
Yeah, and even then, like Rooster, okay, I can save those 6 minutes at this point. But Them Bones, like fantastic song. Wood's a great song. They have a lot of great tracks.
Yeah. And I also think that their lead singer, what the fuck is his
Lane Staley.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the more unique voices.
Oh yeah, and the way he harmonized with Jerry Cantrell, that's one of those iconic rock singer combos.
Yeah, and me, without diving too deep into all our music, if I hear a unique voice, that sells me so much harder, whereas you're probably going to be sold more on the drums or the instrumentation.
Yeah, but it's funny you mention unique voices when your favorite band is Breaking Benjamin, and he's got the most generic rock voice out there.
No, but you think
he is Pearl Jam ripoff number 4000.
No, see, Pearl Jam is that annoying.
I'm sorry. One goes her and one goes her.
Nah, it's because you don't listen to them. You can make that comparison.
I listened to them against my will every day for 3 years.
Listen, Jim, just because your favorite band is a terrible vocalist.
You want to talk about unique vocalists, Brian. You should love Rush.
It's unique, but it's it's like most of your Sega songs. Like, they're unique, but they're terrible. You know, like, it's badly composed, sounds like garbage. It's unique for sure, but it's nothing that's pleasant to the ears.
Badly composed. How dare you, sir? Yeah, Getty's voice is rough, but
yeah,
every Rush fan can admit that Getty's voice is terrible.
No one will take away from how great Rush is from... You take away Getty's voice and instruments, wow, holy shit. Not going to take anything away from that. But that voice cuts in like a fucking... a pencil in your arm.
Yeah,
it hurts.
The old stuff was a Led Zeppelin ripoff, and the newer stuff is... It's just rough.
So that's what I
Never
mean.
been about the voice.
So but that's my point. You don't put stock, kind of like your games, like you don't put stock in songs, lyrics, voices. Like you're...
I definitely don't with lyrics.
You're a drummer.
I definitely do not with lyrics.
And that's my point. Like I truly, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying you are a drummer and a damn good one at that. So you're more focused on melodies, things that like, you know, I hear and I appreciate, but you know, me, I'm more on vocals, lyrics, things of that nature. So it's just completely different. And like I said, that's one of my biggest problems when I heard Rush was like, man, I really love the opening of Tom Sawyer. And then he cuts
and then you
in
hear Getty and you go, ooh, yep. Yeah, he's an acquired taste, even for Rush
Same
fans.
with like Limelight. How his voice sounds in Limelight especially, I'm like, I like the way the melody is of that song, and I'm just like, okay. All right, well, it takes me out of the song completely.
Fair, very fair.
But yeah, no, Alice in Chains, like I said, that voice, so unique. And I like Metallica a lot, but for whatever reason, I've just been on a kick with them. So that's what drove me to this Doom, like, let's just get them all out there. And I'll be honest, I never connected the dots like you until we were in college and I saw videos on it.
Yep.
Like, I was like, oh shit, that is a Metallica song. Or, oh shit, I did hear that Pantera song. But no matter how many times I played those games, even on a 360 remake, I never made that myself.
I didn't for the 360 version, and you played it way more than I did. I only dabbled in it with you for when we were doing a review. But I thought they changed a lot of the music in that just to avoid all the copyright bullshit.
Well, they might have like made it a slightly, but for the most part, it's still pretty damn true to what the game was.
Well, you know what? Then again, the Switch versions are pretty much close to the music, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But that was my question when I hear these. Was just everything copyright like very lax? Like, did they ever get sued by all these bands? Like, and we know especially Metallica was very sue happy when Napster shit came through. I don't know about Pantera and Slayer, but. And the guy, like, he's been interviewed, and it's killing me right now. Why the fuck can't I think of his name?
What, like Romero?
Yeah. He basically said, like, while he was programming this game, all they're doing was listening to these bands.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, he doesn't shy away from saying that's a direct inspiration. Did he get sued? Like what the hell happened there? Like, how was it such a clear ripoff and he didn't get in trouble?
I don't know. I think that'll be more of a thing, like a famous like suing if it did get sued for it. So
yeah,
maybe my only guess will be where like maybe the bands just liked it enough and they didn't want to piss off their fan base by doing that.
True.
Because I mean, if you're a metalhead, you love Doom. I mean, everyone loved Doom anyway, but especially metalheads.
Yeah, and it was such an homage to like, shit, you could fucking make a music video off of Doom footage with some of those songs.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm sure there's a fuckload of 2007 YouTube that was only that.
I'm sure. But that's what I mean. Like, it's one of the more interesting cases. Like, we've danced around some of these other ones that's like, they do sound just like them. But this one is just as blatant as could be. And in today's Sue Happy world, like, you could never get away. Could you imagine someone, like, completely ripping off, insert any popular name now, and getting away with it like that?
I just looked up, did Doom get sued? And the first Reddit thing that popped up on Google was, how the hell did none of the bands who inspired the music get sued? Or did they not sue it?
Yeah, exactly. like imagine if Fortnite, like, and I know they did that cross promotion with, I think, Travis Scott, but like imagine if like some super uber popular game,
Oh, wait,
Call of
wait,
Duty.
wait.
Oh,
So apparently, the most liked answer is he used a lawyer and knew how much was legal and how much wasn't. So I guess he changed just
really?
enough to not get sued legally, which would be a genius move.
I mean, I guess you know more about music, but some of the like, and I'm gonna keep going back to that Bye Bye American Pie,
Right.
with them bones. It's that goddamn melody is unmistakably doom doo doo doom doo 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 doom 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 doo doo. Like, it's such a ripoff. Is it maybe like you can take up to 20 seconds of a loop from a song or something?
Maybe. I mean, the music industry probably has its own set of rules for that, like kind of like how YouTube does. How if you use copyrighted content, you can't use more than like 4 to 5 seconds before the video will get like automatically stricken or something like that. So
Gotcha.
I'm sure there's some legal loophole. And lawyer, I am not, and lazy I am.
Smart
and
on
research,
him.
I will not. So, but yeah, good on them for doing that.
If he did that, that's awesome.
I
was
don't
going
know
along
if the
with your
game.
answer of like,
I don't know if the game would have been as maybe there's a little bit to it too. The band's just going, we won't fuck with this, but it probably just comes down to they couldn't.
let's put it this way: you're in a band,
Yeah.
and say you guys create an original song,
Uh-huh.
and that was your only livelihood. So I'm trying to frame it in the sense of these guys.
Right.
But if you saw a game use your song clearly, like blatantly, like you personally, do you think you would care, or would you kind of feel like, man, I'm losing out money on this? They should have paid me something for this.
It's kind of tough to say. Maybe if I was like one of those people who like my entire like a one-hit wonder whose entire career is based off making money off of one song so they can do whatever they want. I mean, if something blatantly ripped it off and I was in my legal right to do it, maybe I would. I'd probably be a scumbag like that. So,
Damn it, Jim! Don't be a scumbag.
yeah, at least I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It depends. Like, it's obviously a situation I'll never be in. So,
yeah, but like I said, you are a musician, and your band does have some originals. So
there's also that feeling where like it can really fucking like if you make something original and someone just tries to blatantly steal it. Like even on a very small level with fucking us, like we've had people just take our videos and it's some random Mexican channel and they just re-upload out our video. So it's not like we're not gonna like strike that down or shit like that.
And here's the deal.
One, why would you ever steal from us? Have you seen our numbers?
Well, so it's funny. So one of the things Jim's talking about is, I made the Thug Life Volume 1 of different video games, which is, it was many videos did it at the time. I just had my own take on it.
Yeah, you
But
played along to the
basically,
meme. Yeah.
Yeah, you show a certain scene from a game and you put it to like rap music, gangster rap or whatever, and you add in graphics. But what's funny is almost all of our videos have the Drink a Beer, Play a Game symbols up and down the side, and these people even left that in and just re-upload it like they did on their own. I was like,
oh yeah, they did nothing. They literally just re-uploaded what we did.
and all my videos that are playthroughs or whatever, I actually put under there like, feel free if you want to download this and use this footage, or if for some reason there was gameplay footage from any of our videos, I don't give two shits about my gameplay footage. Like, take it, use it as much as you want. But like something like that we put the time into, and we still have the fucking names. I'm like, come on, man, you at least gotta be creative if you're gonna steal those. Like, take the borders off or something.
Yeah, if you want to watch the video in question, I just threw it in the description. So Brian copy and paste these into all the descriptions for the episode, so you can find it there. Give some views.
And then, on top of that, we've run into a thing where we got our logo created by a buddy of ours that's an artist. Like, we commissioned out like getting the logo created for us, and it says "Drink a Beer and Play a Game" for that reason. That's the only other area where I'm like, okay, like, don't care, but some people like just took it and used it as their main logo, and I'm like, yo, like, I don't care about any other graphics we use, but don't take the one that is our main logo and try and reuse that.
Yeah, it's funny. The one time I went to like one channel in question stream as they were streaming, and I was like, "Hey, nice logo. You know, that's ours, right?" And like they were like, "What do you mean?" And of course, their friends are like, "What do you call it?" Like, "Oh, bullshit. Of course, yeah, I'm sure it's yours." I'm like, "Have you seen the name of our channel?"
Yeah, it's like it's in. That's what I'm saying. Like if it's in the name, it's a little rough. But
And again, if you like asked us to use something similar, like I don't give a fuck. Like we're no one. Like go ahead, have fun.
oh yeah, don't give two shits. But that goes back to like if you were a band and you did have the one hit wonder and that was your main source of income. If you went off if you saw a game all of a sudden spike in popularity, I can see your point where it's like on one hand that's your source of income, but it's like
It depends. Like if it's my livelihood, that one song, then yeah, I'll probably be way more protective of it. And in general, I'd probably be irked by it. But you know, one, if there's nothing legally I can do, I'm not going to waste the time. And two, you also kind of have to read your audience. Like I think if like a metal band went after Doom for stealing their music to get back on topic, I think the blowout for that just in the metal circle would have been way worse than what Metallica took for going after Napster.
yeah, no, that definitely would have because you go after this indie developer at the time who create this revolutionary game. Like I'm all for the idea of the famine thinking of like someone's doing better and it's hurting me, whereas like if you embrace it and you support it and then you gain the fans of that platform that's growing.
Right.
I don't know. I'm always for that. Like first try to just collaborate with them. Be like, yo, I see you're doing something like what we're doing. Let's do something together. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, getting back to topic, yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Comes down to the law. The law.
Yeah, but once again, damn it, Jim. Make sure you check out, speaking of collabs and giving credit, once again, the link is below to the direct video, but go over, give this guy, this guy put a lot of work into it, Hellish Godzilla, so give him a subscribe, follow him, give a like on the video, and check it out. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, we just need to use that.
Yep.
All right. So, moving on with Which is Better, one of our weekly reoccurrences. You can tell based on the games. Who put this one up here?
Aha!
Why don't you explain, Jim?
Well, Brian, this week's Which is Better will be between two of the lesser tier puzzle games. So, in one corner, we have Columns, Sega's answer to Tetris. And in the other corner,
Boo.
we have Tetris 2, the follow-up to Tetris.
Boo.
And I'm going to say right away, I don't like either of these games.
It pissed me off so much. Like, I knew you were trying to keep it
Fair. I
relevant
was keeping it
by
fair.
throwing-
Like, I couldn't do Tetris versus Columns.
That's what I mean. I was like, he fucking put Tetris 2. Like, nobody cares about Tetris. Nobody has ever made the argument like, oh man, that Tetris 2, that's the game. And fucking Columns. Like, the shit.
Do you like gems and boredom? You'll love Columns.
In this particular one, where I know we're supposed to pick one, they both can go suck a dick. I don't like either one of them. But if I have to choose, I have to just go with Tetris because, you know what, I'd rather it be the son of one of the best games ever than some shitty game by Sega that was just a lazy development to keep trying to attack Nintendo. So, Tetris 2.
I mean, I don't think it was.
Get my vote.
It wasn't particularly lazy because it is a whole different kind of game mechanic to like kill things off and build shit up. I don't know. I don't know if Columns came after Puyo Puyo, which is like similar, but Puyo Puyo is 1,000 times better. So, like, again, I don't like either of these fucking games, but I'll just go.
And do not act like it's that different. It's slightly different.
One of them you're lining up, you know, in different like vertically, horizontally, or diagonally to get 3 or 4 gems in a row, and the other one is, you know, you have the fitted pieces. So where in Columns everything's the same fitted, you know, like rows of 3 and shit like that. It's different enough from
Correct.
Tetris.
They're both based on a grid with pre-designated shapes that you're putting into a specific pattern to eliminate a certain amount of shapes before it fills up the screen, correct?
Yes and no, because everything's the same shape in Columns. It isn't like it's different shapes like it is in Tetris.
But at the end of the day, if that
It's a different strategy,
grid
Brian.
fills,
It's a different strategy.
if that grid fills up, what happens in
You
columns?
lose.
And you're in a grid almost, some could say, about the same size as Tetris, right?
Yeah. Look, Brian, I'm not going to sit here and say that Tetris wasn't the progenitor for all these games. Of course it was. But they all had to put their little twist and their little spinny on it.
But that's what I mean. That's why I'm calling it lazy. Like, they're like, well, colors, that's different enough. And instead of predetermined odd shapes, it's all the same, but just line up colors.
Yeah.
It's a lazy twist on an idea, and there's a reason why it never really took off, isn't there, Jim?
I mean, it was a moderate hit. It's got its fans. But you know what doesn't have its fans? Tetris 2, because no one likes it. So that's why Columns is better. Columns at least tried to do something at least a little bit different.
Wait. Columns does not have its fans.
It has its fans. It has fans. There are Columns fans out there.
It's Sega fanboys. It's the same way as like PlayStation fanboys today. It's Sega fanboys who just hate all things Nintendo, and they're gonna fight and say this is better than Tetris.
No. Let's keep it fair here. All right. Even among Sega fans, most people don't fucking like Columns, but Columns has its small, very small, dedicated fan base, and Tetris 2 does not.
Only Sega fanboys.
Yeah, probably. And then the only Tetris 2 fanboys would probably just be the Nintendo fanboys, because I think it only ever came out on the NES and the Game Boy. So, but even then,
no
one.
Tetris 2 fanboys, because there shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be, because it's terrible.
Yeah, just like Columns, there shouldn't be.
At least
the only reason you would be for Columns is because you hate Tetris.
No, I
because
fucking
you
hate Columns.
Nintendo.
I fucking hate Columns. But
No, I'm not saying all Sega fanboys. I'm saying the only people who like Columns are strictly Sega fanboys who want to hate on everything Nintendo, and this is their golden goose of like, well, we have like a Tetris style.
They would go with Puyo Puyo. That would be the one to go with if you're a Sega fan.
Jim, I hate that you put these two games. All the games in the universe.
I've had more fun just putting this together for your reaction than even picking the But no, I'll give it to Columns just because Columns at least try to be a little more to be different, where Tetris 2 is just like, oh, we threw an obstacles on the thing now. So, fuck Tetris 2. Just give me, if I had to take the 2, I'll take Columns. But either way, I'd still rather drink bleach. Like, they're both terrible.
I hate you, Jim. And if you ever own either of these, I promise I will take a hammer to them. Do you own one of them, Jim?
Well, Brian, I may have Tetris 2 on the Game Boy and Columns on the Sega Genesis.
I will gladly pay the difference, but I'm going to leave a turd in one of those cases.
No.
Just wait.
Don't
Jim.
touch my precious.
You see what I'm dealing with, people? This is why when we play Among Us, Jim gets off the ship.
Look, I can't help what I get in bundles. Things happen.
No, I don't want to hear it. Things don't happen. You make it happen.
Look, Bri, if you want to get some good stuff, sometimes you got to take a little crap. It's these things that happen. Deal's a deal.
All right, so moving on to our final topic and our reoccurring bit, the overrated, underrated. I actually like this one, Jim. It's not a full reprise for your shitty Which Is Better.
I think I was on fire this week with these.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, because we talked about this when we had Thought Cops on 2 episodes ago. But this is a game that is sometimes, not sometimes, it's always heralded as like an example of like Nintendo 64 not just being for kids.
Yep.
Like the adult humor, the ridiculous, the giant shit monster, all these things. And it obviously comes to us from Rare, who made some of the debatably the most unique games for the 64 at least. Is it overrated or is it underrated? I can go first, and I don't know if it'll surprise you or not, but I'm actually going to say overrated. And the reason being is because the game itself plays okay at best. You don't go to that game because the game is an amazing game. You go to it, for the ridiculous humor, for what it is like from a story standpoint, and just like it wears off after you hear all the jokes the first time and you get the humor. It's like a lot of the South Park games we talked about, even on 64. It's funny, but after you play it a couple times, you're like, I get it. It's done. And Conker's, I think, if it had came out for PlayStation, it would not have received the same press because, once again, this was that answer that, nope, we're telling you, 64 is not just a kid console. Like, look at this. And this is always listed as, like, for that reason, because it was on a Nintendo console. Like, can you believe they had this foul talking squirrel, like, doing all this crazy shit? I do love the story, and I do love the humor. Let me just be very clear about that. And I think they are very well written. But outside of that, the game, like I said, it's just a very average game. It's not that fun to play, at least for me. So the way people like praise it, I think is only for the gimmick of it being the dirty game on the 64. So I have to go Overrated for that.
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder because I was going Overrated too. It's just not that fun. Like,
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
like it's what you said. Like, it got the press because of its humor, and like it's also a bitch too because like on the N64 version, you're dealing with N64 graphics and control, and then or if you buy the Xbox remake of it, it looks prettier and it controls better, but it censors a lot of the dirty jokes and shit like that. So it's, you're giving and taking. And I think I'd rather play the N64 version with its more lewd stuff because that's the real appeal. Like, it got hyped because it was dirty and it was on riding the wave of Rare on the N64 because that was when Rare was at its best. But also by the time it came out, it was a late release. It was like 2001, I think. It was like one of the last games on the system. And like I'm just so fucking sick of these Rare collectathons by then. Like, Banjo-Kazooie's good because Banjo-Kazooie, like, contains itself. Like, Banjo-Tooie and Donkey Kong 64 and Conker, they're all too goddamn long. So, like, I don't need to collect a billion goddamn things. I'm done with collectathons. So, like, even beyond that, like, it was really nothing you never saw before or played before outside of the humor. And, like, my friends growing up, like, they loved the multiplayer. And every time we play, I'd sit there and just go, why are we doing this? Like, this sucks. Like, I remember some tank multiplayer game that we would always play. And, like, I'd always be miserable, and I guess I hold a grudge with that, too. But, yeah, Conker's is completely overrated.
Yeah, and like I said, I can appreciate
It's one of those,
being
and even from a collector standpoint, like, it's crazy expensive, and, like, the aura around it is, like, ooh, late release, dirty game. Like, no one buys it for their collection because it's actually good.
And that's my point, like, it's one of those games that's always driven me crazy. Why people praise it is for, I don't even want to say for the wrong reason.
It's not even rare.
But
like, you can, if you want it, you can find it. It's just a game people want to have in their setup, so they pay for it.
But it's one of those, like, it's like it's a movie, it's like a good M. Night Shyamalan movie with a good twist. Like, the first time you see it, you're like, oh man, that's crazy. But then you know the jokes, you know the humor, you know all the punchlines, so you're kind of like, okay, like this is where it wears out its welcome. Like I said, I put it on the same tier as those South Park games. When Jim and I reviewed those games,
I mean, it's better. To be fair to it, it's better than the South Park games on the N64.
No. Let me put it. Let me just be clear.
But just for the experience, you mean?
Like, the humor of the South Park games is the biggest appeal of the South Park games.
I'm throwing a piss ball.
Like, the games are terribly designed, and Conker's is better designed, but at the end of the day, it's not an amazing game.
Right.
But it's the same idea as, like, you're going to get entertainment out of that humor and those jokes. And, us being diehard South Park fans, like, we found more entertainment with those games than we probably should have. But we still were saying, like, those games weren't good, but you could laugh a little bit with your buddies. Same with this game. Like, this game, at best, should be a 6 or 7, maybe. And people, like, launch it up to, like, a 9 or something because, oh my god, the humor for a Nintendo game. Shit monster. Like I said, it's just, I've never heard anyone talk about that game because of its mechanics being great or the gameplay being fun. It's just about the story and the humor. And I'm the guy between you and me that loves plots and stories, and even that, I'm like, okay, I get it. What's next? So
yep.
Yeah, I'd be very curious if anyone who watches us, if you think it's underrated, explain why. And I would hope you'd explain past just that story, because it's not even the first game to have that kind of lewd humor. There's literally tons of examples before Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Like
But, yeah, like,
the only argument I could see is if you were going to be like, oh, it like perfected the rare collectathon formula, which okay, maybe, but it's been there, done that. It didn't do anything new.
yeah, perfecting a mechanic that I'm not exactly crazy about to begin with. That's not enough for me.
Yep.
So I'm very curious if anyone out there, like I said, if you have an opinion that it is underrated, please let us know. But this is one of the few times Jim and I are on the same page.
Yep.
Were you surprised? Did you think I was going to go underrated?
I didn't know how you were going to go. I didn't know what your experience was with it or anything like that. I was just like, this will be a good one.
Yeah. No, that is a good one. That's a really good one because, yeah, everyone praises the shit out of it. So, all right. So, Jim, what'd you think of that second beer? Is it still going down pretty rough?
No, I mean, it went down smoother the more I went through the beer. But for the Voodoo Ranger, the Atomic Pumpkin, this is like the complete opposite of the Lancaster, where the Lancaster was like sweet and smooth. This was spicy and in your face. Like when you first start drinking it, like the chili definitely sticks to like the top and back of your throat, and you'll taste that like as, you know, between sips for a while. But then as it went on, it just became like a spicy with a little kick at the end, kind of like not hot spice, but just like, you know, shitload of spices thrown at you, like that kind of pumpkin beer. So I really had like both ends of the spectrum. Like it was good though. Like I enjoyed it. Like I didn't hate it. I don't think I can drink a lot of them in a row, but if you're the kind of person who like really wants a big kick in the face of flavor, then this is a beer that you would really enjoy. Whereas with the Lancaster one, if you like a smoother, more relaxed, sweeter pumpkin beer, then that's the one to go for. So either way, you're hitting two different taste preferences, but both of them did their job well.
So what are you putting it on, like a spice meter? Like, is it like Frank's Red Hot?
Oh no, it's not even that hot. Like you just get that nice.
Just a little bit.
Well, you know what? I mean, the initial mouthfeel, you're just like, oh wow, like I can really taste like the heat spice in this at first. Like you get the chili flavor a lot at first, but it was never just like, it's not like you're drinking Frank's Red Hot. So yeah, I guess if you're like splashing Frank's on something and you're giving it like a couple really good shakes, then it would be something like that.
Yeah, we've had some. Well,
it wasn't Ghostface Killer. It wasn't shit like that.
No. I didn't think it was like that, but like did I ever have you try the Free Will?
Habanero Sculpin? That's not Free Will though. But
No. It's Free Will, but it is a habanero. It's a habanero mango beer. It's called. Fuck, I can't remember. I think I've got it before. I know I've gotten it before. You've had the habanero Sculpin, but unfortunately, you've only had it mixed with whatever the hell I mixed it with.
Oh God, what was that? Was that Dos Equis or St. Pauli Girl? It was like something like that.
It was, or did I do that with the stout that time?
I can't remember. Or was that the one that went with the fucking banana bread beer?
The banana. I think it was the banana, and I think that was Titanfall.
Yeah, I think that was the Titanfall game.
Yeah, and that one has some heat to it.
Yeah, that definitely has way more heat. No, this one, like, this is not an overpowering heat, but you definitely do get the heat. So if you're a person who doesn't like heat spice, you're not going to like the first couple sips, but it does, like, taper off.
And as probably between you and me, I eat way more spicier stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want spicy shit coming out of my beer. Like, I love spice, and I make my shit way too hot sometimes. I don't want that out of my beer. Like, there's never a time I'm like, man, I really wish this beer just had a kick to it. It's one of the weird flavor additives I've never understood. But
fair. Sorry, I was burping. So, yeah, some people like their cucumbers pickled, as you like to say.
Anyway, yeah.
Hey, it's a thing you say. What can I do?
I say many things.
Yeah, you do.
But the Oktoberfest, once again, you're not going to be able to get it probably pretty soon. So I'd say for next year, when it does start hitting August, September, give it a try as your easy go-to beer. I like it. It's smooth. It gives just the right amount of malts and caramel over a regular lager. and it remains very, very drinkable, and it doesn't sit super, excuse me, as I'm burping, it doesn't sit super heavy, so.
All right. Yeah, it's a solid beer. It's one I like.
Yeah. So with that, we want to say thank you, everyone who listened. If you don't already, please make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us a rating if you can. Give us a 5. Even if you want to hate on us, we would truly, truly appreciate it. If you haven't already, also please subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a ton of reviews. I actually just released a Resident Evil 3 review. Jim did a new video for Double Dragon on the Game Boy for the Yokoi kids. So we have new content coming out at minimum once a week, if not multiple times a week. So please make sure subscribe to us there. And if you want to support us further, please follow us on Patreon. And for as little as $2 a month, you can submit to us some questions that we will answer on every new episode of the Power Hour podcast.
And don't forget the merch.
And of course, if you do want some merch, if you want t-shirts, if you want phone covers, anything, check out our links below from Teespring. We'd really appreciate any support you want to give us. So with that, we want to say thank you once again. Have a good night, and cheers.
Cheers, guys.